Let me be honest with you right away. Most men will never earn a woman's real respect. Not because women are complicated or because attraction is unfair. It's because men are chasing the wrong signals. They think respect comes from effort, money, charm, or trying hard to be liked. And here's the hard truth. None of that matters as much as the kind of man you truly are. Women respect men who are grounded. Men who have self-respect, personal standards, and a sense of direction. Not men who bend to please or who constantly seek approval. Most guys confuse being nice with being respectable, but respect isn't earned by trying too hard. It's earned by how you carry yourself, what you allow in your life, and how you respond to challenges. Think about it. We notice quickly when a man is insecure, overly accommodating, or afraid of standing his ground. That doesn't inspire respect. What inspires respect is seeing a man who is comfortable in his own skin, who communicates clearly, who doesn't compromise his values for temporary approval. Women are wired to sense authenticity in a man. They feel it, even if they can't explain it. And here's where most men go wrong. They try to impress women instead of impressing themselves. They focus on what they think will make her like them instead of living in a way that naturally draws respect. That's why you'll see women gravitate towards some men effortlessly while ignoring others who work harder to win attention. That I end this video. I'm going to break down what it really means to be a man who earns respect from women. I'll share what women see, feel, and respond to when a man operates from a place of strength, purpose, and integrity. I'm going to give you insight you won't get from friends, self-help books, or social media gurus. This is the raw, honest truth about human philosophy and attraction from a woman's perspective. By the end of this, you'll understand why women only respect certain kinds of men, and you'll know exactly how to shift the way you carry yourself so that respect comes naturally, without trying to force it. 1. The man who commands respect without asking for it. There's a kind of man women notice immediately, even if he's quiet in a room. He doesn't announce himself, he doesn't show off, and he doesn't try to win anyone over. But the moment he speaks or moves, there's an energy about him that draws attention. Women respect this man instinctively because he doesn't need permission or approval to exist in the world. I remember one conversation where a man I had just met was sharing his thoughts on a project he was working on. He wasn't bragging. He wasn't trying to impress anyone, and he certainly wasn't fishing for compliments. He spoke with calm certainty, outlined his ideas clearly, and responded to questions without hesitation. The room felt different. People listened, and I realized I was paying attention in a way I rarely do in casual settings. What made him stand out wasn't his job, his looks, or his wealth. It was his presence. He had clearly established his boundaries without being aggressive. He had a direction in life and wasn't apologizing for it. That kind of self-assuredness creates a magnetic pull for women because it signals stability and strength. Women instinctively feel safe around men who can carry themselves with authority and composure. Most men think respect comes from actions designed to impress women, like gifts, flattery, or constant attention. But women notice when a man doesn't try too hard. Effort without self-possession reads as desperation. A man who commands respect doesn't chase or over-explain. He lets his values and boundaries speak for themselves. Another key point is consistency. A woman may notice this man over time because he doesn't bend for every situation or person. He doesn't compromise who he is to gain approval, and he doesn't react emotionally to small disruptions. That consistency communicates integrity. It communicates that he has standards and that he honors them. 2. How integrity speaks louder than words or actions. Integrity is one of the most underestimated qualities a man can have. Most men focus on charm, appearance, or temporary displays of confidence. But integrity is what women truly notice and respect. It isn't something you have to talk about or prove. It's shown through the choices you make, the way you honor your word, and how consistently you act according to your values. Women sense it instinctively, and it immediately sets you apart. Integrity starts with honesty. A man who tells the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, signals that he has self-respect. Women notice when a man doesn't hide behind excuses, exaggerations, or manipulations. Even small moments of honesty, like admitting when he's wrong or expressing his boundaries clearly, communicate strength. Women respect men who are straightforward because it shows emotional maturity and authenticity. Consistency is another cornerstone of integrity. Women pay attention to whether your words align with your actions. A man who says he will do something and follows through communicates reliability. A man who constantly shifts behavior or makes promises he doesn't keep signals unreliability, and respect erodes quickly. Women are drawn to men whose lives are aligned with their values because it signals stability and trustworthiness. Boundaries are deeply tied to integrity. Men who clearly define what they will and won't accept and stick to those standards show that they respect themselves. Women instinctively recognize that a man with boundaries isn't controlling. He simply honors his own worth. That kind of self-possession creates admiration because it demonstrates discipline, confidence, and accountability. Integrity also shows through how a man treats others. It isn't only about how he treats a woman, but how he behaves in life in general. How he treats friends, family, and strangers communicates whether he lives by principles or convenience. Women pick up on this subtle energy and naturally respect men whose values are consistent in all areas of life. The key point is that integrity is silent power. It doesn't need dramatic gestures or speeches. It doesn't seek validation. Women sense it in presence, tone, and behavior. When a man embodies integrity, it influences the way she perceives him. She respects him, trusts him, and is drawn to his steady energy. Most men underestimate the power of integrity because it feels less immediate than flashy confidence or charm. But it lasts. It builds admiration over time and creates a foundation for both respect and attraction that cannot be faked. Women remember men who consistently act with integrity, and those men naturally earn their respect without trying. 3. The moment a woman realizes she can't take you for granted. There's a specific moment when a woman realizes that she can't take a man for granted, and it changes the dynamic completely. It's not about him giving ultimatums or creating drama. It's about him holding his ground naturally, without arrogance or effort. That moment signals respect, and once she senses it, her perception shifts. That I remember being on a date with a man who handled things in a way I wasn't used to. He was polite and engaged, but when I tried to push the conversation in a way that would normally get a reaction out of someone eager to please, he stayed calm. He didn't overreact, he didn't apologize unnecessarily, and he didn't bend to please me. Instead, he simply expressed his preference calmly and stayed true to it. The effect on me was immediate. I realized he had standards that he didn't compromise, and it made me respect him instantly. Women notice when a man doesn't overextend himself for their approval. When he shows that he values his time, energy, and peace above the need for validation, it communicates strength and self-respect. That subtle but firm stance changes how she approaches him. Suddenly, she is more conscious of her own behavior because she senses that she can't take liberties or assume compliance. Another reason this moment matters is because it reveals the man's emotional stability. Women respect men who are steady and consistent. They feel safe knowing that he won't be manipulated, that he can handle disagreements or tension without losing composure, and that he won't allow himself to be walked over. It's not controlling behavior. It's a reflection of self-possession and maturity. This realization also sparks attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men who set boundaries and live with intention. Once she senses that she can't take him for granted, she becomes more intentional herself. She starts showing her best side, engaging with more curiosity, and even being more playful or attentive. It creates a dynamic where admiration and attraction grow simultaneously. The takeaway is simple. Respect isn't earned by bending over backwards or trying to impress. It's earned by being consistent, composed, and true to yourself. When a woman realizes that a man values himself enough not to be taken for granted, she starts seeing him differently. She respects him. She admires him. And she responds to the energy of someone who operates from self-respect rather than effort or desperation. 4. The subtle energy that women cannot resist. There's a kind of energy that women notice immediately, even if they don't consciously think about it. It's calm, grounded, and purposeful. It isn't loud or aggressive, and it isn't about showing off. It's the energy of a man who knows himself, values his own time, and moves through life with intention. Women respond to this energy because it signals stability, self-respect, and leadership, all of which are deeply attractive qualities. Most men underestimate the power of presence. They think words, gifts, or displays of effort are what create admiration. But women are drawn to men whose energy communicates confidence without trying. A man who carries himself with quiet assurance doesn't need to explain himself constantly. His focus, calmness, and steady attention are noticed immediately. This is subtle, but it has a profound effect. Another aspect of this energy is emotional discipline. A man who can control his reactions, remain calm under pressure, and handle conflict without panic signals maturity. Women respect men who are steady because it makes them feel safe and understood. Emotional composure communicates that he can handle challenges in life and relationships, and that reliability creates admiration naturally. Consistency also feeds this energy. When a man acts predictably in terms of his values, habits, and boundaries, women subconsciously register it as stability. They sense that he has standards and lives by them. This quiet strength communicates that he won't bend to manipulation or drama, which women instinctively respect. Boundaries are a key part of this energy as well. A man who knows what he will and won't accept and holds to it without being harsh communicates self-respect. Women notice when a man doesn't compromise himself for approval. That subtle message says more than words ever could. This man is grounded, he values himself, and he is not easily influenced. Finally, the way a man manages attention communicates energy. He doesn't chase validation, over-explain, or try to impress constantly. He is selective with his time and focus. Women respond to that because it signals independence and self-confidence. The energy of a man who is comfortable being himself creates natural admiration and attraction. In short, women cannot resist a man whose energy communicates clarity, stability, and self-possession. Words and actions are important, but energy carries far more weight. It's about how you hold yourself, how you respond to life, and how consistent you are in your presence and standards. That energy is magnetic, and it's what separates men who are respected from those who are ignored. 5. If you don't do this, you'll keep losing respect and attraction. Here's the truth that most men don't want to hear. If you don't establish and maintain your standards, you will keep losing respect from women. It doesn't matter how charming, handsome, or funny you are. If you bend too easily, over-apologize, or constantly seek approval, women will notice, and they won't respect you. Respect isn't given to men who try to please. It's earned by men who hold their ground and live by their values. That a lot of men confuse kindness with weakness. They think that saying yes to everything, adjusting their behavior to avoid conflict, or prioritizing a woman's approval will make them more attractive. In reality, this does the opposite. Women are wired to sense strength and self-possession. When a man allows himself to be controlled, overlooked, or undervalued, it communicates a lack of self-respect. That's a red flag for attraction. Women respond to clarity, decisiveness, and integrity. They respect men who know what they will accept and what they want. A man who communicates his boundaries calmly and consistently becomes someone worth noticing. It isn't about aggression or dominance. It's about self-possession and authenticity. When a man lives in alignment with his values, he naturally separates himself from men who are reactive or desperate for approval. Emotional control is also essential. Men who react impulsively, lash out, or get defensive under pressure lose respect quickly. Women sense instability immediately. On the other hand, a man who stays calm, even when challenged, demonstrates maturity and inner strength. That kind of behavior is magnetic because it communicates security and reliability. Most importantly, you have to understand that respect is tied to self-respect. A man who values himself, protects his time, and refuses to tolerate disrespect creates a dynamic where women instinctively admire him. If you avoid difficult conversations, fail to enforce boundaries, or let disrespect slide, you're teaching women to undervalue you. That's a cycle that repeats until you break it. This is your wake-up call. Respect is earned, not given. It comes from the way you carry yourself, the standards you enforce, and the energy you project. Stop trying to impress, stop over-explaining, and stop allowing your fear of losing a woman to dictate your behavior. Women naturally gravitate toward men who are grounded, self-assured, and consistent. That is the kind of man who commands respect without asking for it. If you don't start taking these steps seriously, you will continue to attract women who don't value you and lose women who would. Self-respect is not negotiable. Set your standards, live by them, and watch how respect and attraction follow naturally. Here's the hard truth. Women don't respect men who bend too easily, chase validation, or avoid standing up for themselves. Respect isn't something you can force. It's something you earn by the way you carry yourself, the standards you hold, and the clarity you live with every day. Women notice these qualities instinctively, and they are drawn to men who embody them without trying to impress. Most men focus on effort, flattery, gifts, or over-explaining, thinking it will make a woman respect them. But the reality is the opposite. Effort without self-possession signals neediness. Women respect men who are grounded, decisive, and consistent. Men who communicate their boundaries calmly and live according to their values naturally earn admiration and attraction. The kind of man women respect is not complicated. He is emotionally steady, lives with integrity, and protects his peace. He doesn't overreact, doesn't seek constant approval, and doesn't compromise his standards. That self-assured energy is magnetic because it communicates strength, security, and authenticity that I want to hear from you. Have you noticed how women respond differently when you hold your ground or speak your truth? Or maybe you've experienced losing respect by giving too much away too easily. Share your experiences in the comments. I'll be engaging with you because this isn't just about teaching. It's about helping you understand what truly works from a woman's perspective so you can shift the dynamic in your favor. Remember, respect isn't given, it's earned. Start embodying clarity, consistency, and self-respect today, and you'll notice the change immediately in how women see and respond to you.